sadhu sadhu sadhu. Buddham 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 vande. Dhammam 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 vande. Sangham 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 vande. Buddham dhammam sangham vande. Sambha papassa akaranam kusalassa upasampada. Sachinta pariyodapanam etang buddhana sasanam. Homage to the expert one, the worthy one, the perfectly enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends in the Dhamma, today we are going to discuss very common stanza in Buddhism. I think all of you have heard it. Sambha papa sakaranam, kusala supa sambada, sachitta pariyodapanam, etang buddhana sasanam. Not to do evil, develop good deeds, purify one's mind. This is the message of all Buddhas who appeared in the world. This is the meaning of this very short stanza. Giving the priority to this stanza, today I am going to explain all main doctrines in Buddhism. Okay? Last days we discussed very deep topics in Buddhism like dependent origination. Today we are going to summarize all Buddhist doctrines, special main doctrines in Buddhism. You can have a short introduction what Buddhism is. So when we discuss Buddha's message, it is very clear that everyone can get some advice or some teachings from Buddhism according to their mental conditions, according to their intelligence. Even a little child, they also can get some example, get some advice from Buddhism according to their age, intelligence, purpose and dedication. When we see Buddhism, it is like the ocean. It is like the ocean. What is the nature of the ocean? Ocean deepens gradually. From the beach to the deeper level, it gradually deepens. Buddhism also like that. Buddha says, I don't proclaim the deep level intelligence at the very beginning. But however, from the beginning, we should have some kind of intelligence to understand what Buddhism is. Especially, if you want to get the results from Buddhism, from what Buddha taught, especially we should have three major qualities in our life. Can you remember those qualities? Last time, sometimes we have discussed. Even though you are not here, when we get some advice or example from a religion or from a teaching, what are the primary qualities that we should need?
Generosity.
Generosity is the qualities that we practice. I mean that before we start this journey, practicing, what are the primary qualities that we should need?
Right view.
Yes, we receive right view throughout listening to Dhamma. Before we purify our vision, I mean that very primary qualities that we should need. Yes, very good. Attention, okay. Attention, active listening. Attention is very important. Attention. 1T or 2T? Okay. Attention. Paying attention, active listening. That is also one of the major qualities. The next one is honesty. Honesty. We should be honest. If we want to get a result from a teaching, we should be honest. And that is one of the major things that we should have intelligence. These three qualities are very important. Whether we practice or not, whether we like or not, very first, we should have these three qualities. Buddha invite people who come to the message. First, you should be intelligent, wise, and you should have good attention. If we have these qualities, you can go on this path as much as you have dedication, courage. But if you haven't these qualities, even though you are listening to Dhamma, Dhamma doesn't absorb to your life. These three things are very important. Buddha says, when he was going to preach Dhamma to the world, in his words, Buddha says, Etu vinyo puriso akato amayavi navanka jato. Please come people to me who are intelligent, honest, and who has good attention. And there are other four qualities that we should have from the beginning to end. Here we discuss all qualities that we should need on this path. Can you remember, Karanandu? There are four other qualities that we should need from beginning to end on this path. Selvam?
Good friends.
Yes, very good. Associating good friends. Associating good friends. That is very important. When we are going to associate a person, we should be intelligent. We should have an ability to recognize whether they are intelligent. Associating good friends. The second one, in this time we are so lucky, in Buddha's period, associating good friends happened only associating people who are living. But now we have many ways that we can associate good friends. Reading a book, watching a YouTube sermon, or searching Google some link. We have various ways to associate good friends if we are intelligent. When we are going to associate good friends, we should be intelligent and honest. If we don't have good qualities, even though we need good friends, we can get the result from this. And also, as you mentioned, Selvam, here in this level, we should be generous. We should be grateful. Those qualities are very important, gratitude and generosity. And not only associating good friends, but we should be aware of what they say. Sometimes we meet some good friends, we say them our all qualifications, but we don't ask what they know. In this situation, we should be intelligent. When we meet a person, we should ask them, what is your vision in your life? What is your purpose? What kind of doctrines still you practice? We should ask them. And not only associating, but listening Dhamma. Listening Dhamma also very important. Listening truth. What is the next one? we should reflect on according to what we listen. Sometimes we listen a lot, but as soon as we leave that person, we leave everything. It's not good. We should remember what we listen and we should reflect on it again and again in our day-to-day life. Then that experience, that understanding is going to be permanent. And also here, that is very important, Buddha never says, come and believe. Buddha says, come and see. Ehipassika. That is the freedom of Buddhism. Buddhism never forces you, come and believe. Buddhism says, come and see this reality throughout practicing your life. And the third one, reflecting. Reflecting on what we are listening. The fourth one is practice. Practice. What we should practice? What? Yes, very good. Mindfulness is the bottom level of all practices that Buddha has explained. In sometimes Buddha says you have to practice only one thing, that is mindfulness. Sometimes Buddha says you have to practice only two things, concentration and wisdom. Sometimes Buddha says you have to practice only three, discipline, concentration and wisdom. Sometimes Buddha says you have to practice only five, confidence, energy, mindfulness, concentration and wisdom. Sometimes Buddha says you have to practice seven, bojjhanga, enlightenment factors, saddha, virya, sati, samadhi, panya. Sometimes Buddha says you have to practice 18 eightfold paths, but Buddha has concluded everything. You have to practice only one thing, it is mindfulness. All Buddhist doctrines that Buddha has explained for 45 years in his lifetime can be included into mindfulness. Mindfulness is not just keeping our mind in the present moment, it is a very wide concept in Buddhism. We will discuss it. However, these four things are very important. Now, we explain little by little. You are so fortunate. Your journey is so successful. Your trip is very successful, even though you came from far away to the USA. And here, again, Buddhism can be explained gradually from beginning to end. First, Buddha says how we succeed this life. That is very important. Before we start our spiritual journey, deliverance path, first of all we should be successful this life. What we should do to succeed this life? If we want to succeed this life, we have to complete four things. What they are? They are education. Education is the main purpose of children. Our future depends on our education. Knowledge is wealth. Not only knowledge of subjects, but we should be qualified in several languages. Not only verbal languages, but we should be qualified even sign language too. And what are the major languages in the world? Number one, many people use?
Chinese.
Yes, Mandarin, Spanish, English, Hindi, Arabic, German, Japan, Russian, like that. These are the major languages, Hindi. And if we can be qualified in a language except English, that is also very important. And what is the second thing that we should develop for the success of this life? Employment, earning money. Employment. We should have to earn money as much as we can in righteous way. The limit is the righteous way. Buddha never says that you should earn little money. We can earn as much as we can, but the limit is the righteous way. And what else? The other thing is health. Not only physical health, but mental health. That is also a need that we should have to succeed in this life. What are the fourth one? Or morality or good discipline. Even though we are successful in these three ways, if we haven't moral life, it is very hard to live in this society. We should have a good behavior, good discipline. There are a lot of doctrines that we can see in Buddhism about these four areas. Buddha says one of the major duties of parents for their children is giving a good education. And also Buddha encourages us to earn money with dedication. There are a lot of advice that we can see in Buddhism, how we earn money and how we spend it. Health. There are a lot of techniques, doctrines that Buddha has explained to fulfill our health, physical health and mental health. And morality, how we present good discipline in our speech and behavior. This is the first thing that we should be successful to succeed this life. If somebody can succeed in these four areas, it means having a bachelor's degree. It is like earning a bachelor's degree. But we don't stop in bachelor's degree. We go forward finding the master's degree. When we go to the next level, we should have to learn more, what Buddha says. In the second level, we should have a very special understanding. What is that? Yes, very good. Very good. And throughout listening Dhamma, we develop our understanding of the karmic law. Now, little by little, we open our eyes to the world. We reduce the darkness in the world. What happens to our life depends on our karmic energy. That we do this life and that what we did in our previous life. The karma is the big shadow behind of us. It is not just our previous karma. In this life, karma also influences our life. In the morning, if you blame someone, in the evening, he will blame you again. In the morning, if you work hard, in the evening, you will earn some money. That is also karma. And also here we have received a lot of things, good light, intelligence, and good senses. We receive all things as a result of our previous karmas, good karmas. Be happy. Be gratitude to your mind. You kept your mind pure and calm in your past life. When you go to the mirror, be grateful to your mind that you purified in your previous life. That is why you have received all these necessities in this life. If you had polluted your mind, sometimes you may be blind, deaf. Now you are so fortunate because of your pure mind. And the understanding of the karmic law is very important here. That is one of the steps of wisdom. Wisdom can be divided into two. One of them is the understanding of the karmic law. The other one is the understanding of the dependent origination or impermanence. Wisdom in Buddhism, Panya, can be divided into two. This is the very first level. With the understanding of the karmic law, we understand whatever we do with intention, we will have the same result. If we do something with impure mind, we will have bad results, negative results, because of polluted mind. If our mind is pure, we will have good results because of pure mind. This is the very first understanding in wisdom. As much as we have this understanding, we try to overcome negative thought, evil, and we try to develop good deeds. Why do we do it? Because we don't like to suffer. We don't like suffering. That is why we always keep our mind pure and calm. Here in this level, that is very important according to our stanza that we preach this. Sabba papa sagaranam, he go away from evil, and kusala supasamada, he try to do good deeds. And what are the major meritorious deeds that we can practice in our day-to-day life? Giving something, generosity, dana, or practicing generosity. Practicing generosity is one of the meritorious things that we can practice in the name of happiness. Happiness is the main purpose of everyone. We do everything for our inner peace. And dana, Christian. And sila, morality or virtue. Discipline in our speech and behavior. And meditation, bhavana, mental culture, meditation. By practicing generosity, we try to overcome greed or attachment. There are three unwholesome thoughts that disturb our peace of mind. What they are? Greed, anger, and delusion. And by practicing generosity, we try to overcome greed, attachment, lustful desire. By practicing morality, we try to overcome anger. By practicing meditation, again, we try to overcome anger, especially by practicing loving kindness. One of the signs that we are on the path of liberation or that we are on the path of inner peace is that practicing loving kindness. Because anger is the main reason why we suffer. There are three enemies. We should identify, we should recognize the real enemies in our life. According to Buddhism, there are no outside enemies. The enemies are inside. What are the enemies who disturb our peace of mind? Greed, anger, and delusion. If we can defeat these three enemies, that is the victory. That is the real victory in our life. Buddha says, we can defeat hundreds of enemies in the battlefield. It is not difficult. What is the difficult thing? If someone can defeat his own enemies in his mind, negative thoughts, that is the real victory in our life. And these are the three meritorious deeds. Here, Buddha pointed out very special path. What is the path here? End of our life, we will receive a blissful life, heavenly path, Dhammagaru. In this level, actually still we have ignorance. What is the reason? We think that there is something outside. When we remember something, when we remember our mom house, we think it is there. It means we are ready to be born there. When you think your house, when you think your mom, if you think they are outside, be sure you are not away from them. You are near them. Even though you leave your physical body here, you are be there. This is the nature of the conventional truth. Even though you have the karmic, you have the understanding of the karmic law, still you are in the circle of samsara. What is the reason? You think that before you were born in the world, there was a world. After you die, the world remains. That is the delusion. World created by ourselves at the moment when we open our senses. And here, if someone can have a good understanding of the karmic law, and if he does good deeds, three meritorious deeds, it is like having a master's degree in Buddhism. Sukho punya sauchyo. As much as you can practice three meritorious deeds, happiness comes to you. When you remember your actions, activities that you did physically, verbally or mentally, when you remember those things, you are happy. That is why we should do these things. And also not only those happiness, but as the result of practicing good deeds, we receive longevity, good complexion, good friends, health. These are the results of good deeds. And also if we have some results of some negative actions that we had done in our previous lives, as the result of these good deeds, we can reduce the strength of those results of karma. That is why we should practice as much as we can. Practicing meditation is the very fast way how we overcome negative results of our actions that we did in our past lives. And Buddhism doesn't stop in the master's degree. We should reach our final destination, doctorate. What is the highest degree? Doctor of Philosophy. When we reach the highest level, we are philosophers. What is the philosophy in Buddhism? What is the Buddhist philosophy? Buddhist philosophy consists in the dependent origination. The dependent origination or paticcasamuppada or causality, the fortune is the highest advantage that you have received as the result of your previous actions. If you have no enough merits or fortune, you can't listen to this thing. You are here because of your previous karma, good karma. This is the heart of Buddhism. You understand, you recognize that Buddha appeared in the world with the understanding of the dependent origination. Dependent origination depends on impermanence. What is our world? Our world is Whatever we experience through our six senses, that is our world. When we experience something through our six senses, at the moment we create the world. According to the karmic law, according to the conventional truth, before we were born there was a world, after we died the world remains. But according to the ultimate truth, the divine origination, we create the world at the moment. The world arises and ceases at the moment. Then we have a good understanding. What is the suffering? Suffering means whatever we experience through our eyes, nose, body, ear, at the moment 5 things arise immediately. What they are? 5 aggregates. 5 aggregates. Matter, Rupa, Vedana, feelings, and perception, Sanya, Sankara, mental formation, Vijnana, consciousness. These 5 things are together. These 5 things are invisible. These 5 things can be seen. These 5 things can be divided. But these 5 things arise at the moment, whatever we experience. Not only arise immediately, these 5 things cease. Whether we like or not, whether we know or not. If someone can understand these 5 things, 4 things, it means he understands suffering. How suffering arises. It means he understands the first of 4 noble truths, dukkha satya. This is the noble truth of suffering. When we understand the noble truth of suffering, then we understand the cause of suffering. The cause of suffering is greed or craving, which arises because of this understanding, not understanding. Craving is the second truth. What is the third one of the 4 noble truths? The cessation of suffering. If we can overcome misunderstanding of the 5 aggregates, we can cessate. We can cease suffering. That is the third one, the cessation of suffering. Then we find a path to overcome suffering, that is the Eightfold Path. The 4th one path. Noble Eightfold Path. And up to now what we discussed. Review. What we discussed. We discussed how we succeed this life, what they are, education, employment, health, and morality. The second level, we develop our confidence in the karmic law. With the understanding of the karmic law, we practice 3 meritorious deeds. We talked about karmic law and 3 meritorious deeds: Dana, Sila, Bhavana, generosity, morality, and meditation. Just now we talked about the dependent origination, impermanence. What is the impermanence? The experience arises at the moment. And also the conditions are not the result. When we do this sound, because of my fingers, sound arises, but sound doesn't belong to these fingers or my mind or consciousness. And if we have this understanding, we are hurry to overcome suffering. Then we open the doors which towards to liberation. Then we find a path. What is the path? The very special thing is practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness means keeping our mind in the present moment, practicing some kind of meditation technique. We develop our awareness of our body and mind. Or mindfulness can be divided into 4. The contemplating on body, the contemplating on feelings, the contemplating on consciousness, the contemplating of mental formation. And as the result of practicing mindfulness, our concentration gradually increases. When mind is concentrated, we reflect on impermanence again and again. Wisdom develops. And then when we see the results, we are hurried to go forward. Energy increases. And as a result of all these things, our confidence in the triple gem, the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha gradually increases. 3 refuge. We think that this is the real refuge in our life. It means we should worship Buddha. We are confident in Buddha's enlightenment. What is the Buddha's enlightenment? Understanding of the dependent origination. And what is the Dhamma? Dhamma means practicing three characteristics: anicca, dukkha, anatta. Impermanence, suffering, or unsatisfactoriness, or anatta, egolessness. 3 characteristics. These 5 things are the real wealth in our life. As soon as the Buddha meets a person, Buddha reflects, Buddha thinks how much that person has developed these 4 things in his previous life. This is our real dowry, wealth. And as the result of practicing these 4 things, finally we meet a very special thing. Our mind always concentrated, and with concentrated mind we reflect on impermanence, wisdom. And finally we have only mind wisdom. As soon as we open our eyes, we hear, we smell, we are mindful that incident arises at the moment. We have no any desire, craving, anger or ignorance. For that, we should develop our courage, dedication as much as we can. Day by day, we are reaching end of our life. Before our death, we should go forward with these qualities. Now, we talked many things in Buddhism. What we didn't discuss in Buddhism? What didn't we discuss in Buddhism? You can say these things we didn't discuss. What is the point? Yes, we think that we explain the path. Suffering, dukkha satya, samudaya, nirodha marga, marga satya. The path of liberation is 8-fold path. I wrote here 8-fold path. Right understanding, right intention, right speech, like that. this is the summary of Buddhism. Have any question? Today we are going to end the sermon early because they are tired, they look tired. And actually they are here from 5:30. And have any question? Yes, please.
Where does the doctrine of non-self, where's that come in?
Please hear me.
Like the doctrine of non-self, what is it?
Non-self means, we think that there are some permanent things inside which can be controlled by us. That is a misconception. One day an old ascetic person came to Buddha. He says that, Bhante, although you say that anatta or no soul, why you say that? I can control my whole thing. I can walk, I can eat, I can play, I can do things. Then Buddha asked, when you are going to old age, when you are going to sicknesses, when you are going to die, can you control it? If we have soul, particular certain soul, hospitals are not needed. If we have soul, we don't need cemetery. If we have a soul, we don't need elder houses. We can control our old age, our death, our sicknesses. That is the nature of soulness, egolessness. If we have a strong permanent soul, we can control them. We are able to control them. We can keep our body forever as young people. We don't die if we have a soul. Because of no soul, we can't control them.
Also, because of the cell, I guess it also ties in for like it's real, right? Because the cell changes constantly. What you are last month is what you thought of yourself, or what you are different this month, yesterday, today, and that as well.
Yes, these three things, anicca, dukkha, anatta, are interrelated. Anicca means impermanence, dukkha means suffering or unsatisfactoriness, anatta means egolessness or selflessness. And these three things should be realized by the wise person. And if we can understand dependent origination, we understand anicca. Anicca means not just changing. It is a deep concept in Buddhism. And when somebody understands anicca, he understands dukkha, suffering too. If someone understands anicca and dukkha, he realizes anatta too, egolessness too. These three things are interrelated. Now, these things are our enemies. One day, they should be our close friends. These three things are close friends of Arahantas. They have no struggle with these three things. They live with these three things as friends. Now, when something changes, we are afraid of it. We fight with them. With the understanding of the Dharma, with the realizing of the Dhamma, we see these three things throughout our life. Then we have a balanced mind. We have a balanced mind to accept these three things. Yes, have you any question?
Yes, we use the word intelligent when we talk about good associations and having intelligent friends. Could you say a little bit more about what you mean when you use that word?
Intelligence has several steps. At the very beginning, it means that common intelligence. For example, if we are ignorant, we can't even understand when we meet a person. That is the primary level intelligence that we should have. It is not a deeper level intelligence. With the association of good friends, we develop our intelligence up to the higher level. And Buddha says, Panyavantasnayan Dhammo, Nayan Dhammo, Duppanyassa. I explain this Dhamma for the intelligent person, not for stupid.
Because intelligence is relative to brains. I think maybe intelligence might not be maybe a person that is morally intelligent, right? Not intellectually intelligent. Correct?
Yes.
There might be someone who's intellectually maybe not so strong school years, but is intelligent in a way of common sense and is very has a big heart and is morally has a very deep intelligence, moral intelligence.
Yes. Intelligence can be divided into two, according to Buddhism. Especially one thing is, when we develop our education, when we associate some common people, and also when we were born in the world, we have some kind of intelligence. That is the primary level intelligence. Even though we have doctorate, not only one doctorate, if we have several doctorates, we have only this level intelligence. But even though we have no literacy, we can achieve the second level. How do we achieve the second level? Associating good friends who explain the eightfold dependent origination, cause and effect, impermanent. There were some Arahants in Buddha's time who didn't have even literacy. But they were intelligent because they understood, they realized how suffering arises and how we overcome suffering. For that, we should have a good friend who explains the Buddha's message. In Buddha's time, Reverend Sariputta was the most intelligent person, except Buddha. But even he couldn't realize this truth by himself. He had to meet Bhante Assaji and listening to Dhamma through him. Because all religions, teachers, philosophers, scientists, they do experiments, they preach, they explain the things what they see outside. They do all experiments according to what they see. They think that what they see, all people see the same thing. But Buddhism doesn't accept it. If we see this wall is for us. When for somebody, this wall is not a wall. He can go through the wall. Whatever we experience is what we created. It is not the real world. Now you see this environment very present. If your inside karmic energy change for the good path, sometimes you see the divine persons around here. If your mind changes to worst way, bad way, you see me like an enemy who has a weapon to kill you. There are a lot of incidents in the current society. Someone who is in the old age, before they die, their children are coming to help them, bringing food. they hid under the table. This person is coming to kill me. They are going to under the table. But their children are coming, having food to their father. But their inside has changed. This is the danger in the life. That is why we should find a spiritual teacher. That is why we should have a guidance of a spiritual teacher. That is why Buddhas shine in the world. Because of 3 reasons, Buddhas are shining in the world. What they are? Old age, death and rebirth. Because of these 3 things, Buddhas are shining in the world. If we don't have these challenges, we don't need a spiritual teacher or his teaching. Okay? Have any question?
One last quick question. So, you didn't mention anything about hindrances, right? I don't think. And so, are the hindrances, are they obstacles to understanding suffering more than anything else? Hindrance? The hindrances? The 5 hindrances?
Hindrances. Yes, 5 hindrances. Kama, Chanda, Vyapada, sensual pressure like that. Yes, there are 5 hindrances which disturb our peace of mind, some negative thoughts in our mind. First 5 hindrances related to this world. Buddha explained not only 5 hindrances, Buddha explained 6 hindrances. What is the next one? Ignorance. 5 hindrances can be reduced by anyone. Before Buddha appeared in the world, there were some ascetic people who had eradicated 5 hindrances for 84 great eons. There were some ascetic people when Buddha appeared in the world who had eradicated 5 hindrances for 84 great eons. But they were not successful when Buddha appeared in the world. Because Buddha introduced the 6th hindrance, that's ignorance, delusion. Even though we overcome 5 hindrances, still we are in the circle of the samsara. Buddha pointed out how we overcome this circle, introducing the ignorance. 6th one. You know, when our mind is concentrated with jhana level, we reduce 5 hindrances. But still we have ignorance. If we start this journey with right understanding, with the knowledge of the definite origination, we don't stop in this level. As soon as mind is concentrated, Buddha says, Samahito bhikkhave yatha bhutam bhajanati. When mind is concentrated, he reflects on impermanence to overcome ignorance. Yes, that is very good. Now we have talked about 5 hindrances too. Okay, thank you so much. You are given all main topics in Buddhism, last of this handout. And now you can introduce Buddhism to anyone. Now you are a Buddhist scholar. Sometimes you can explain all Buddhism, entire Buddhist concept. Okay? Okay, thank you so much for your good attention. Now we are going to conclude our session, Dhamma discussion. First, we start this sermon explaining the 4 things that we should practice to succeed this life: education, employment, health, and morality. Then next level, with the understanding of the karmic law, we should practice 3 meritorious deeds: generosity, morality, and meditation. With the understanding of the dependent origination, we should practice 3 disciplines: Sila, Samadhi, Panya, virtue, concentration, and wisdom. And when we go on this path, 5 spiritual faculties: Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya, confidence, energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom gradually increase. When we go on this path, we realize 3 characteristics: anicca, dukkha, anatta. Impermanence, suffering, egolessness. And gradually our 5 hindrances reduce, and finally we overcome ignorance, reflecting on impermanence. Thank you so much. By the power of all these merits, may our departed relatives also receive these merits, and may they enhance their spiritual energy, and finally may they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to our departed relatives too. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these merits, may guardian deities and angels also receive these merits, and may they enhance their spiritual energy. May they keep their eye on you too. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to guardian deities and angels too. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhadam punya sampadam sabbe devanumodanto sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhadam punya sampadam sabbe devanumodanto sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhadam punya sampadam sabbe devanumodanto sabba sampatti siddhya. By the power of all these merits, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you, may no problems come to you, may no difficulties come to you, may your all righteous wishes meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantā ca niddukkha, bhayam pantā ca nidbhaya, sokam pantā ca nissoka, hantu sabbe pipanino. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.